Son, I may not be your father, but I'm the man of this house. And the way you've been disrespecting your mother and me, unacceptable. Give me that game and your cell phone. You're grounded for 2 weeks.
My dad bought me that game. Take it and I'll call him.
If you can call him, you can go live with him too. Son, I may not be your father, but I'm the man of this house. And the way you've been disrespecting your mother and me, unacceptable. Give me that game and your cell phone. You're grounded for 2 weeks.
My dad bought me that game. Take it and I'll call him.
If you can call him, you can go live with him too. Son, I may not be your father, but I'm the man of this house. And the way you've been disrespecting your mother and me, unacceptable. Give me that game and your cell phone. You're grounded for 2 weeks.
My dad bought me that game. Take it and I'll call him.
If you can call him, you can go live with him too.
Shalom. How's everybody doing? We hope, we pray that everybody is well and will be better. This is your brother and friend, Yeshaya Israel. And last week, we spoke upon a matter, brothers and sisters. And in that matter, I was saying that it's unwise to yell and that children should not be yelled at. Now, majority of the people, whether I said it on the Facebook thing or elsewhere, disagreed with me. The reason why I say children should not be yelled at is for 2 reasons, if nothing else. It damages your voice, it messes with your blood pressure, and your point is not being exemplified to the child. Let me show the video that I showed last week regarding that.
You don't talk to me like that. You hear?
Don't raise your voice at my son. You're not his daddy.
I'm good enough to help raise him, just not good enough to correct him. You don't want to partner.
That video that I was showing, say, from last week with that, that's not correcting. Let's show a parent that is not even a biological parent correcting the child and build from there.
Son, I may not be your father, but I'm the man of this house. And the way you've been disrespecting your mother and me, unacceptable. Give me that game and your cell phone. You're grounded for 2 weeks.
My dad bought me.
Now, when you're looking at that, in the presentation I spoke upon last week, I was saying about taking away privileges from the child. People were saying about yelling to the child or at the child is a form of discipline. And what I've gathered and learned and believe now is, and I say this in no offense, is that many parents, step parents or not, do not provide things such as privileges for the child. They're more so, excuse the language, I'm about to beat that ass. You understand? That's more so the premise, as opposed to saying, I see you like that game, you're disrespectful, you're going to lose the privilege to having them say play that game. You're grounded for 2 weeks. No TV, no radio, no going outside. If there is a party, you will not be going. Let's see the intelligence, and then let's see the foolishness about how to sit there and deal with children. This is the intelligent one right here.
Son, I may not be your father, but I'm the man of this house. And the way you've been disrespecting your mother and me, unacceptable. Give me that game and your cell phone. You're grounded for 2 weeks.
My dad bought me that game. Take it and I'll call him.
If you can call him.
The unintelligent way.
You don't talk to me like that. You hear?
Don't raise your voice at my son. You're not his daddy.
I'm good enough to help raise him, just not good enough to correct him. You don't want a partner. You want help without authority.
If your authority has to be made through yelling, making your voice hoarse, the lady in there does not even respect you, that's not good. Is it maybe transference because you know the lady doesn't respect you, so you may want to yell at her, but you're not going to do that to an adult, so you do it to a child and under the guise of quote unquote discipline or correcting. Let's show again what discipline is in regards with a child who, in the video, did speak, was rude, and how to handle such maturely, not emotionally.
Son, I may not be your father, but I'm the man of this house. And the way you've been disrespecting your mother and me, unacceptable. Give me that game and your cell phone. You're grounded for 2 weeks.
My dad bought.
Last week, I spoke about grounding children. That's to say, put on punishment. Now, in the video you just saw, there was no yelling. There was no pressure. It has in blood pressure being raised. The stepfather in there, I know it's AI, just using as an example. In so many terms, quote, laid the law down. Now, I don't know if there's supposed to be a backstory about what happened with the biological mother and the child's father. But the stepfather, as shown in there, came respectful, maturely, explained why the privileges of playing with the game and the use of the cell phone are taken away because the disrespect that's shown is unacceptable. Which do you think? I'm asking the people in here who listen to this now or later. Which do you think between the two is more acceptable? There are videos which bewilders me of parents spanking their children online. That's crazy. The Bible does not say, for those who subscribe to the Bible, it does not say spare the rod and spoil the child. The portions that speak upon spanking the children, as in Proverbs chapter 13, does not say that. And believe it or not to name anybody in particular, I remember discussing this with Israelites, and they was on some LOL stuff. This is your book, brother and sister. You misquoting your book? Then you wonder why Israel don't look like we could be strong, because you are misquoting your book with a LOL. Won't you take out some time and discipline your spirit to learn something? Proverbs 13 and Proverbs 21 are the portions that speak upon, say, spanking regards with children. I want to pull something up, if we will, brothers and sisters, in this, if I may. This should hopefully come up on the screen. If not, I will have to stop the screen, then turn around, share the screen in this particular case. You have parents who sadly come at children as if the child is the enemy. If you're talking about spanking your child or, quote, whooping your child's A word, that is for your enemies. You're supposed to whoop the behind of your enemy, not your child. You don't come at your child like an enemy, all right, in that particular case. So, in that particular matter, shalom, brothers and sisters. Let's look at this here. Proverbs chapter 3. The Most High by wisdom founded the earth. By your understanding, he established the heavens. Why did I have that posted there? By wisdom, by understanding. The earth was founded, established, was the heavens in understanding. So if the Most High, in using wisdom and understanding, made the heavens and the earth, what makes us think that our children do not have to be dealt with, who we are the procreators of, in wisdom and understanding? Where did that concept come from in that particular case? Is it wise to make your voice hoarse, talking about you a figure of authority? There are people who in the comments when I spoke upon this, say last week and a little before last week, they'd actually try to come at me like, oh, well, do you even have any kids? No, I don't have any kid, I have a child. I've yelled at my child, and that's why I'm able to say it doesn't work. I've been yelled at when I was a child. That does not work. You understand? A child is known by his or her own doings. So who wins in regards with yelling at a child? Please let me know. If we are Giborim from Gabar in Hebrew, meaning to win, who wins in regards with that? Who is the one who is the one who is successful in one's own mission? See, when you're dealing in emotion, your mission doesn't count. I have to do what I got to do, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and I got 5 kids, and I didn't tag nobody in this. Do you think the way the other video showed from last week, yo, talk to me like that? Do you think that's going to be effective for the child's learning? Or maybe we can derive from that particular video shown last week as intertransference or transference. You upset maybe at another situation, felt offended by a child, because we didn't hear the child in that first video. You heard the child in the other video from tonight. The stepfather in the video that I was showing was the wise way to do it. Professional. Wasn't a coward. Didn't have to sit there and defend his position as the man of the house to the woman, as in the other video. Do you see there's a contrast between the two? People have actually asked with a silly smiley face emoji talking about, does that brother, speaking of myself, have a child? Ask him how many children he has. I have 1. I've yelled at my child. I'm telling you, it is not beneficial. It does not get the point across. He or she is not taking heed to that. Now, if you're dealing with the matter of, say, taking privileges away, that's going to make the child consider. If the child for 2 weeks has to sit there and be like, it is what it is kind of thing, that's going to make the child consider. Let me give an example. When I was on punishment, I must have been about maybe 8 years old. And I wasn't allowed to go outside and play or watch TV or talk to my friend on the phone or so on. Right? And my punishment for those 2 weeks was supposed to end that Saturday night. When that Wednesday came, the Wednesday before the Saturday night is supposed to end, I was watching TV while, may she rest in peace, my mother was outside the room watching what she was watching. She walked into the room by opening up the door and heard my TV on, which I knew was supposed to be watching TV while I'm on punishment. And she looked at me, she said, you got another week of being on punishment. When that Saturday night came, she stuck to it. And I was on punishment for that extra week. I am now 45 years old. That happened when I was 8. I cannot recall the number of times I was yelled at, but I will remember my punishment being extended an extra week for the rest of my life. See the difference? When that next Wednesday came, when I should have been off for punishment, nope. That privilege was taken away. And I'm telling the brothers and sisters, I remember that now at 45 years old. I remember, and it's going to get a little sidetracked, and I'm going to bring it back to the point. Unless I'm mistaken, the city of Chicago was founded by a black man from Haiti. I don't know the man's name. a lot of black slave revolts that happened inside of the United States was fueled by what slaves heard in the United States from those during the Haitian Revolution in the 1790s and the early 1800s. Why do I go there at this particular point? The person who helped my mother get me to read above my grade level was a relative through a marriage that's from Haiti. As a quote unquote black man born in the United States, this platform does not support FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and we only talk about Maine to Florida, from Florida to California, from California to Washington, Oregon, back to Maine, as if there's no black people in Canada, there's no black people in Central America. I've been to Costa Rica. I've seen black people there. I know black people from DR. They will go hard body saying they know black. No, what you mean is you're not, quote, African American, but if you use a pick, if you're using a comb, you are by default what you would call a black person. Not all black people, even in the Western Hemisphere, are the same people. On this platform, which is a sidebar to what I'm talking about, but I want to get back to the point, is that there is no promotion of anti-Africa on this. There is no promotion of anti-West Indian on this. May Malcolm X rest in peace. This marks the 21st of February, the anniversary of his assassination. We wouldn't have, correct me if I'm wrong, Malcolm X if his mother didn't give birth to him, and his mother was from the West Indies. We wouldn't have in the hip hop made Biggie Smalls rest in peace if his mother from Jamaica did not give birth to him. Well, the person who helped my mother get booked so I can read on a higher level was from Haiti. So we want to sit there and put that out there. This platform does not condone kissing the orange guys behind, saying with my birth certificate and birthright citizenship, great white man, I sit there and submit. Thank you for protecting me from the rest of these black people. We don't operate on that on this, brothers and sisters. So because one slave ship went to Jamaica and the other one went to Cuba, while the other one went to Florida. All right. It's brothers and sisters, real quick, not to get too far off the subject. Black people in Jamaica and black people in Guyana speak English, and black people in the United States speak English. Don't you think just taking the United States, Jamaica, and Guyana, you had the same colonizers? So that story of FBA, whether you trace it to 1526, when the Spanish brought black people as captives to what is now the Carolinas, or 1565 in St. Augustine, when Florida was being controlled by the Spanish, because Florida is a Spanish word, the separation and the matter of trying to not have that connection shown doesn't operate on this platform. Just want to put that out there. Now, when we start talking about the matter, say, with children, with this, people have came at me as if I was saying a child should be disrespectful. One person asked me, well, what would you do or what should be done if, you know, a child disrespects you in your own house? I was told to be respectful in and outside the house. Do you see the mentality? You're saying not to be disrespectful in my house. So not trying to be cynical or play games. Could the child take it as if to say, you know what? I'm not in your house anymore. So now what happens? You have limited the authority that you even have based on shelter. You understand? So like the child in the video, I know what it is, even though I didn't have video games when I was 8 and 9 years old, but I knew what it was to not be able to have the privilege of even using a TV being under punishment. And like I said, something that happened when I was 8 years old, I remember to this day, and I am 45. but I cannot remember the times on which I was yelled at. I don't know how many times I was yelled at. That didn't make an impression upon me. Let me show the two videos again and make some more comments and close out. This is the foolish one right here.
You don't talk to me like that. You hear?
Don't raise your voice at my son. You're not his daddy.
I'm good enough to help raise him, just not good enough to correct him. You don't want a partner. You want help without authority.
Now, that was the foolish one. Here's the wise one.
Son, I may not be your father, but I'm the man of this house. And the way you've been disrespecting your mother and me, unacceptable. Give me that game and your cell phone. You're grounded for 2 weeks.
My dad bought me that game. Take it and I'll call him.
If you can call him, you can go live with him too.
Now, I like to close out in saying this. There seems to be, online and offline, a big promotion of step parenting. And for those who are built for it, can never knock it. If we cite the Bible, it says, be a father to the fatherless. So that's up to that individual in that particular case. And it's not to be funny, if you look at it on the other hand, is it a thing where it was said, I don't need a man to help me raise my child, to where you realize, coming from that import generation, that did not work out the best. So now, being raised, many times having children out of wedlock, thinking that was the old way of doing things. Like you got some black people talking about, oh, that Roots movie is back in the 60s and that's old and everything like that. Like you found some new knowledge without whatever, but that's just ridiculous. In that say particular case. And so forth. But brothers and sisters, when it is said or when it is thought that the step parent takes the place of the parent, while at the same token, the biological parent is not made to have to step up to do his or her duty, that is disrespectful to the child and to the parent. If we did the old way, there may not have to be sought for so much step parenting. If we did the ways of old, if you cite the Bible, in Jeremiah chapter 6, it says, seek ye the old paths. Before Cain and Abel were born, Adam and Eve were already married. Before the patriarchs had children, before they became a parent, thus even before they became a patriarch, you had marriages. Marriages, in many cases, in quote, state of black community, is not as high as it could and should be. Again, for those who have the mental strength to be a step parent, more power to you. That's not for everybody, and it's for nobody to ever knock it if one is built for such in, say, that particular case. You understand? But if a man is a stepfather, as we saw in the later video, he's that stepfather to that child, and the husband to the mother of that child. Let's understand the roles in that particular case. Did she marry that man to have a parent for her child? And or did she marry that man to have a spouse in her life? For those who are built for it, maybe they can answer the question in the comments. I want to say, in no disrespect, not to be self-centered, I recently, as of last year, got a lot closer regarding, say, my little one, and I will always call her that. And this past week, I learned something definitely. Men, if you have children, be there for the child. In my personal matter, it wasn't a thing where it was like, the mother kept the child from me or what have you. You got the child's name, you got the mother's name, just like she can sit there and find you regarding, say, child support. If you got to go through the court, knowing the mother and the child's name, she cannot legally sit there and keep the child from you. That is, say, a crime in cases like that, brothers and sisters. So even if you have supervised visits or visits ever so often, be there, say, for the child. You know what I mean? You would find as a man, I can't speak as a woman, but you will find as a man who your true friends are. Because you may need to take out time. I'm speaking from a personal experience on this one. You may need to take out that time to have that time for your child. And you never, ever put anyone or anything above family. If you look at it from a Hebrew perspective, if you wanted to go there, right? Let me see if I could pull this up, if this helps in this particular manner. Don't know if it show up, but let me do this, if we will. All right. I like to show something, if I may, brothers and sisters. Hopefully everybody is well. I am aware that, yes, it is what we call Black History Month, and I was expected to do some videos regarding it. I still must do so. Just bear with me as I am dealing with matters that are not bad, but no disrespect intended, important. So please subscribe to the channel. Nonetheless, it is definitely appreciated. And let us look at this, if we will. Okay? So I want to, if I may, right? Stop screen, share screen. And this gets into, brothers and sisters, the matter of family, if we will, right? And let's gain some understanding of what we're talking about. Now, let's look, if we will, Shalom Beit Zadok. This word here, mishpachah, right? Remember, Hebrews read from right to left. Mem, Shin, Pei, Chet, Hey. You look, brothers and sisters, right? At the Shin, the Pei, and the Chet, the three letters of the five letters that's in the middle, that is the word shapak. The word shapak means to serve. This hay, which we're going to show in a different color, right? With black there, underneath and on top, that hay represents it in the feminine. All right? And what we're going to show in the beginning, they're making that word shapak in the yellow, meaning to serve. Shapak, T, I served. Shepak, a servant. Shipka, a female servant. Right? That man that you see there in the green shows it, brothers and sisters, to be the matter of a noun. Right? So now, looking at that, brothers and sisters, mishpachah by default would mean one who does a service. That's why you might find people saying about, again, Shalom Beit Zadok. That's why you might find people saying blood is thicker than water, yes. But all blood ain't fam. Fam is truly they who help. Well, in Hebraic thought, the word mishpachah implies the matter of one doing a service to the other. Brothers and sisters, anybody who is not about family is not about anything. You'll be surprised how many people are not saved about family, but are about how much one can get from X, Y, and Z. How much one can use, for the lack of a better term, for X, Y, and Z. And when you're dealing with family, as we know in Proverbs, it says there is a rebuke that is comely. There is a way to respectfully, even dealing with a child or an adult, on how to, quote, for the lack of a better term, check somebody. Let him or her know how you feel. These are things that the Lord talks about. And by law, I'm talking about the laws in the Bible. Like the law that says, brothers and sisters, you shall rebuke your neighbor. Don't hold that in. Don't sit there and stress yourself and get in an ulcer, high blood pressure, holding your feelings. Don't do that. Let it out. You may have to do it privately. May have to do it in a certain kind of way, in no disrespect. And I would like to use this example, brothers and sisters. When Nathan the prophet approached David about what happened between David and Uriah, he didn't just, I'm going to do me and I'm going to say what I got to say. Nathan the prophet approaching somebody on that high level as King David, how do I approach this situation? King David had men with him that would, for the lack of a better term, catch a body or drop you, cause you to be unalive, as they would like for us to say on the internet, just because David was who he was. And if we don't think that in the Bible, when the Amalekite came to David in the Bible and said, oh, Saul, mate, Saul is dead. Well, I know Saul is dead because I killed him. What David said in Hebrew was pick up bow, assassinate him, assault him, cause him to fall. The English just simply said fall upon him. But the word pagah means like attack or so forth and so on. And it said one of the men got up from his animal and beat the Amalekite up to where son died. That's the kind of people or crew that David had. Just by his word, you would get, for the lack of a better term, dropped. So how would Nathan the prophet approach the situation when people, on the behest of King David's word, are causing people to be put to death? What you won't do is this.
You don't talk to me like that. You hear?
Don't raise your voice at my son. You're not his daddy.
I'm good enough to help.
See you yelling, that wouldn't get your point across. That child that's sitting there is not understanding what is being exemplified or the message that you're trying to get across, I'm saying. There is a wiser way to get it across. So now in the case, say, with Nathan and David, it got to the point when David confessed, Hatati, I have sinned. But if Nathan the prophet came to David, and you're an adulterer, and somebody would have sat there and flew Nathan's head just on the strength that that's, quote, my man's in them. I'm pointing all of these kind of examples out that there is a way on how to handle things. let's get a little personal with the time we allotted. And I can say now it was my fault because maybe I should have not been outside the class at a certain time in school. And I've told this story to people offline, but I want to say this online. I turned to my right, and I accidentally, when doing that, hit somebody in their face with my hand. I promise you it was not intentional. The guy ran down the hall. I guess he was late for his class too, and said words about me that I'm not going to say exactly online, about him essentially what you call falling on somebody. But he used a different F word, not the word fall. So that whole period of class, I sat there and I waited. His boys, friends came to the door, insinuating, we're waiting for you after the class. Now, when the class ended, brothers and sisters, I went outside through the class, and I don't like the wording, but guess what happened? I don't like the word guess. But what wound up happening is I wound up seeing that guy that I accidentally hit by himself. His boys was not there. He was waiting for me after the class. And I explained to the brother what happened. We winded up doing what today you might call dapping it up, like, oh, okay, well, yeah, cool. Brother, don't let that happen again. I was 13 then. The last time I saw that brother, I must have been in my early 20s. And he still remembered me from then. You understand? And we greeted each other as men. I walked out the store. He did what he had to do. And that was that. I say all of that to say this. There is a wise way to handle anything, whether you're dealing with a child, whether you're dealing with your peers, or even when you're dealing with an adult, or when you're dealing, like I had to put in a comment to one person, well, how would you feel if somebody disrespected you in your house? When you at a job and a supervisor disrespects you, you still have a right to speak. Even heaven forbid, if you get written up at a job, there's a part for you to fill out. Where do we get the concept to make our voices become hoarse? Because as an Israelite on the internet and an Israelite off the internet, some of the classes that people have done or lessons people have done was turned down because like, oh, he's so aggressive. Oh, he's yelling. Adults don't want to be yelled at and being taught something. Now, some people's voices are deeper. I personally do not speak monotone, if you will, but there is no reason to act like that person in that video, as opposed to the other video where you are speaking calmly, rationally, within reason, and you're still, quote, laying the law down. But maybe, and I say this in no offense, when you don't have privileges set up to take from the child when the child is disobedient or disrespectful, that might be another reason why you're so aggressive negatively. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Let's watch the wiser video.
Son, I may not be your father, but I'm the man of this house. And the way you've been disrespecting your mother and me, unacceptable. Give me that game and your cell phone. You're grounded for 2 weeks.
My dad bought me that game. Take it and I'll call him.
If you can call him, you can go live with him too.
Now, that person, as I was saying earlier, not to be redundant, used wisdom. The parent, the adult, acted like an adult. Then act like an emotional wreck, raising your voice. And then when a woman talks to you, you're silent by comparison. I'm good enough to raise him, but you want to figure the authority. Let's watch that. Because obviously they didn't know what they was getting into in their marriage.
You don't talk to me like that. You hear?
Don't raise your voice at my son. You're not his daddy.
I'm good enough to help raise him, just not good enough to correct him. You don't want a partner. You want help without authority.
I want to say again, if you think your authority is done by yelling, that's off. We read earlier, by wisdom and understanding, the Most High made the heavens and the earth. So what makes us think that we don't have to use wisdom and understanding when dealing with matters? Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Staf. Hope everybody is well.